What up, my geeks? Jeffrey Powers here from Geekazine, and welcome to the quick thoughts for today. It is April 23rd, 2018. Geekazine.com, Think Magazine, put in a geek. You got me, of course, all the socials, Facebook. We'll talk about that in a second. Hey, really quick, let's get these out of the way. If you want to get some merch like this really cool shirt, you can go over to geekazine.com/merch. You can suffer from OGD. Yeah, you know me. And then, of course, the Patreon is over at patreon.com/geekazine. And the PayPal is paypal.me/Jeff Powers. Of course, you can also go ahead, comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for the next video, like this live video. Here we go. And welcome to this week's Quick Thoughts. Got a couple news articles. We're going to talk a little bit about net neutrality, which goes away today. You know, you don't need those things. Self-governing net. That's what we need. So anyway, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about what happened to Lenovo. This is kind of weird, and that. But first of all, Geekazine.com. Quick thoughts. So basically, last week all the NAB videos. I'm still got a couple videos left, which we'll push out. Apologies to a couple interviews I did where the audio wasn't too great. In fact, basically the camera has this direct ability through the camera shoe to push the audio, and I guess I didn't have it seated properly, so the audio was just not there. But I've talked to both companies, and they understand, and we're gonna get something out there soon, because one was Narbox, which is this really cool device for videographers. Actually, anybody that goes out to conferences that doesn't want to take their computer with them, but needs to download some of the files so it can get ready to be used. And so that's what Narbox is, and it's a great little portable device. So I definitely want to talk to them in the future. So this week, finish those two videos, and then tomorrow I head out to California, where we do a live stream, and I'll talk about that in a minute. If you want to be part, if you want to check it out and ask questions, if you're into the enterprise IT area. From there, I go to Vegas for a couple conferences, and then I'm back. So next week, probably no quick thoughts. So give it a couple weeks, and then I'll be back with some more quick thoughts, and then we'll think about what we've thought about when we thought what we thought. If you've come onto the show, thank you very much. We got a couple people watching. Go over to the chat and say hi, and I'll say hi back. That's how that works. I want to check the audio really quick, just to make sure. There we go. It works perfectly. So anyway, let's move on from there. Of course, if you go over to Geekazine, go over to geekazine.com. Oh yeah, by the way, since I'm going to California and we're doing a live stream, half of my stuff is packed into a bag. No over-the-shoulder camera, for example, and then my new little box where I can do all my switching is also in there. So I have to go old school a little bit, but definitely a lot of fun. So anyway, over on Geekazine.com, I showed you the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema, and I also showed you the Edelkrone Slider 1 Pro app, and of course new features from Adobe Premiere Pro, Wirecast 9. If you are a Wirecast person, then you want to check that all out. I just got done over my Wirecast Pros group over on Facebook talking about that. Lots of cool stuff. You can go over to geekazine.com. Connor is writing some stuff. I think Martine's got an article in the next week or two, so that's going to be pretty cool. Of course, you go over to youtube.com/Geekazine. Let me get that out of the way. And you can see all those videos, including last week, the quick thoughts from last week, and so on and so forth. So and let's check out some of the comments. Thank you guys. You guys have been very active in the comments. One person is asking about a video I did on iRig HD. Can you hook it up with Mac OS X devices? They're not really intended to do that, but some of them, I think the iRig HD did come with a USB adapter. I might be mistaken on that. It's been a while since I've used those devices, and I know I have multiple cables. And so yeah, it's but you could I believe you can hook it up, but it's better to get something more geared towards the Mac, such as there's different devices. So I believe you do get a cable The other one, the video, the iRig UA, was also about the Android version of that Pro, HD Pro, where you can hook your guitar or your microphone up into your phone. So I don't think that came with a USB option. So once again, it's been a while. So Randall was looking at one of my old iPad 365 videos and asked, how do you get the iPad to display live on your monitor? Well, a couple different ways. You can just basically call up, if you have an Apple TV, you can call it up on Apple TV. On my computer, I use a program called Reflector, which lets you turns it into either Android or Apple, captures the screen there, and that's pretty cool. So there's a few different ways you can do that, or you can direct plug it in. And that's what I did. I did Apple TV for a little bit on iPad 365, but then I switched to a hard connection because of the fact that it wasn't very reliable, and it was also smaller, lesser resolution. So, Edelkrone, thank you guys very much for posting onto the Edelkrone post for the Slider 1 Pro, and they said thank you for stopping by at the booth, and thank you very much. I had a lot of fun over there. Bruce Lane asked about the portability. He says that the Edelkrone Slider 1 Pro was 7.87 inches, and he'd like something a little bit longer. Don't we all? So they have the Slider Plus, and they do have different versions of sliders. So if you want this in like a 12-inch or something like that, they don't make anything like that. And it's possible. Edelkrone even replied that said, yeah, check out the other ones. And if there's enough need for the Slider 1 Pro that's just a little bit longer, like 10 or 12 or whatever inches, I'm pretty sure that Edelkrone will take a look at it and go from there, and maybe just bring in some more ideas here. Monique says, thank you, Jeffrey, on how to embed videos, an older video that I did. Let's see. Oh, I am Kronos asked if there was a ZBook or the X360, and it's a ZBook and an X360, so I'm not exactly sure on the cool stuff. Modern Day Family Man, thank you for all your comments, of course. Gary Gadget was looking at the Lenovo Mirage and the Yi Horizon video, and he says, now, when I did that video, I was at Google's booth, and they said that the Yi will come out by the end of the year. That's the information I had. That's the information I gave you. That means that it could come out tomorrow. It could come out in a month. It could come out in a couple months. I talked to Yi afterwards, and I think the timeline is actually going to be before September, but I'm not 100% on that, so don't quote me. So that's the deal there, but I'm pretty sure from the unit I saw, it looked like it's pretty close to ready. And so I wouldn't be surprised if it came out sooner on that. So I think that's pretty much it for this week. We'll go through some more comments next week because we got lots of comments. I always try to answer questions that come out, like this iRig HD question right there, which I will reply to when we're done with this. So go over to Geekazine over at facebook.com/Geekazine, and you can check that all out. Of course, some of the photos, we'll have some photos of next week in California, photos of Vegas in the week after, and have a lot of fun with that. So just go down, you'll see all the posts. So you got any questions, feel free to ask questions there and go from there. Also, my other website, I don't talk about this too much, but dayintechhistory.com. On April 23rd of 1964, the Standards Eastern Automatic Computer, or SEAC, was decommissioned. You can check that out. Yesterday, we talked about the Mosaic browser, so go over to dayintechhistory.com for all that. Next up, I'm getting a phone call here. Apologize. We'll just hit the button. There we go. So next week, I'm going to be at California to do a build, what we're calling a build day live, Ask Me Anything. So about 6 months ago, we went over to the company of Datrium, and we did a build day live. Now, what is a build day live? It's basically we take their appliance, and this is all enterprise technology, IT admin stuff. So if you got friends that are in the enterprise technology, IT admins, and that want to learn a little bit more, this is a great place to go. My friend Alistair, who's probably on the plane right now because he's coming from New Zealand, and myself, we will be doing this. 6 months ago, we went to Datrium, and they have an appliance, they call it the DVX hyperconverged appliance, that what we did was we installed it into our infrastructure, our data center, to show people how the process works. Simple as that. So we're going back there next week to do an AMA, because there are a few questions that came from that build day, and we want to answer as much as possible. So we're going to be doing that. I'll put the link in the show notes, but it's going to be on YouTube, so you can come on. We'll be on for a couple hours, and we'll be answering questions. We got a few questions already, and of course, everybody that asks questions, there's a free swag bag. There's also prize at the end of it, so that'll be interesting. So get your, check out V Brown Bag. That's youtube.com/V Brown Bag. V as in virtual, brown bag, V Brown Bags, and find that and check out the Datrium condensed video. I have that in the link in the show notes, or in the notes for the event here, so you can go from there and check it all out. So that's basically what I'm doing next week. So lots of fun. Let's check the dashboard. We don't have any questions just yet, so thanks for the people that are watching. Let's get into some of the quick news now. Net neutrality has officially deed. Goodbye net neutrality, though we never appreciated you at all. You guys saved us many times. So of course, that net neutrality is the ability not to throttle you for what you need to do on the internet. What this could mean is a company like Netflix, company like Amazon. This would probably be a better example. Amazon could go to Comcast, could go to Verizon, could go to anybody and say, okay, everything that comes from Amazon, I want you to put in priority. I want you give them all the bandwidth in the world. And then those companies can then go back and say, well, Amazon did this, and this is the price that they put down. That's pretty crazy. You guys want your stuff to come through? Here's what the price is. Like, for instance, my website, geekazine.com. Now, it's not going to probably get down to a website level by any means, but they could. They could start prioritizing websites, and then all of a sudden, where I set up my website for the most ability to be searched and everything like that, all of a sudden, those start to tank because of the fact that net neutrality starts to come into play, and my website doesn't load as fast as a TechCrunch or a CNET or a CNN or NBC or anything like that. And then all of a sudden, I'm just kind of going, okay, well, my website traffic's low, my ad buys are low, so therefore I'm going to have to close shop. Now, that's the worst case scenario. We could get into a very tiered, very horrible situation. But from what I've been reading, and we've got this article over on inverse.com, the other article was on CNET, all the companies, they're basically putting out statements. They're saying, hey, we're not going to throttle you. We're going to go business as usual with this. So they have article, AT&T, Verizon, Charter, or Spectrum, Comcast, all are saying, we're not going to do any type of throttling right now. That could change. That could change immensely in the weeks to come, in the months to come, in the years to come, because they're businesses and they need to make money. Simple as that. So all of a sudden, whereas you're thinking that, oh, they're saying that they're not going to throttle everything, all of a sudden they come out with a terms of service that says, it's time to start throttling. I hope that doesn't happen. I really do. But if it does, watchdogs will keep an eye on it, and we'll let you know if that happens. But right now, net neutrality gone. Bye. So you want to check that out. Once again, that was on that's on CNET, this article, and this article is on inverse.com. Let's move on. Google's launching their SMS replacement, and I'm not a big fan of these SMS replacements. Granted, the SMS is old technology, pretty old, but there's not one SMS to rule them all. And Google's got their SMS, and iPhone's got their SMS. It's more internet protocol based, so that's good because now they can kind of do away with SMS, just that whole text idea for these systems. But now you have to deal with one platform or another. There's, like I said, there's no real unity there. It's like this instead of this. So, I use iPhone simply because of the fact that, you know, a lot of the apps that I need to use are iOS over Android. I know a lot of you are Android fans, and I used Android. I do have a couple Android phones, like right here. So I do work in a cross-platform environment. So I'll definitely be checking out their SMS system. It'll be better. It will be better. It's improved. That's the whole idea. So you can do your emoticons. So you can do your animated GIFs. So you can, you know, have some more fun instead of just, you know, hey, what's up? Nothing. What about you? Nothing. LOL. So adding more to it, that I think that's a great thing. It is a great thing. So, but I just don't like the fact that there's no cross communication between the different devices. Eventually, I think somebody should step in and say, hey, you know, we need to do this. We need to have some sort of talk through on these. But hopefully, well, the good advantage of Google's SMS replacement, on my flights through Delta, you can actually use SMS on anything iPhone to iPhone using the messaging there. Now that Google's using their SMS replacement, adding their SMS replacement, I'm guessing that you'll be able to do that on a Google phone as well. So I'll be able to text friends that have Android phones if they're using the SMS option. If they're using the old style SMS, no, it's not going to happen. So pretty cool stuff. And of course, kudos to Delta. They from what I understand, they open the bandwidth just a little bit so text messages can come through. You can Facebook Messenger messages come through, text messages on the iPhone come through, WhatsApp comes through. So that's why I'm thinking that this Google SMS will be a good addition to that. Finally, let's the world's. Do you remember? I don't know if you remember this, but years ago, IBM had these things called ThinkPads, and they had really solid line of computers, servers, and everything like that. And then all of a sudden, this company called Lenovo from China, came in and they basically said, "Okay, we want to buy your laptops." And IBM said, "No, we want to get out of the laptop business, the PC business. So yeah, go for it." So they bought all the PCs, they bought all the laptops, and they said, "Hey, we want to buy some of your servers too." Okay, let's do it. Boom. Because IBM wanted to get into this, focus on the supercomputing, Big Blue, the things like that, playing chess and Jeopardy and whatever. But they wanted to get into new areas, and IBM's doing great. They're thriving. Lenovo, not so much. And the thing about this is you have U.S. based sales, and then you have international based sales, world sales. And Lenovo was, at the time, ThinkPad was one of the biggest brands. ThinkStation is their desktop, biggest brands out there. Lenovo bought it. I don't know what happened. They're just, every year at CES, and this might be the thing, you know, when I started going to CES in 2009, every year at CES, Lenovo would go to these side shows, what's called showstoppers in PepCom, and they'd have a table, and that table would be packed because people would want to see what the latest Lenovo stuff was. Overall, the other now the whole area always got packed, but not as much as that Lenovo table. It was constantly bombarded because they wanted to see the new thing. I remember at that point they talked about their first clamshell that could be separated. When it got detached, it was an Android tablet. When it got put together, or something like that. When it got put together, it was a desktop. Since then, it got changed to the point where it never came out. And then the next year they came out and said, "Oh yeah, we got this thing, and it detaches. It's awesome." And that never came out. And then the next one never came out, something like that. And then Lenovo came out with some new stuff. Now they have the Yoga book, I think it is, and they're getting into VR just like everybody, AI just like everybody else. But with this problem, it might change what international sales are doing when it comes to technology, because their stock is so low. Hong Kong wants to declassify, to take it out of the stock listings. If they get taken out of the stock listings, Lenovo, it'll be on the deathbed. It might be easy for a company to buy all the technology from there. I don't know, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this, because I loved my ThinkPads. They had this really cool one. It was a butterfly. It would fold out. The keyboard would fold out, and opening up a ThinkPad was easy. You just basically pinched a thing in the back and then open it up. Could get to your memory, could get to your hard drive. It was all quickly interchangeable. And as an IT guy, that was super cool, because if somebody wanted a hard drive upgrade, if somebody wanted more memory, if somebody wanted, to change out the wireless, you could go in the back, open it up, take out the card, put in a new card, and close it up, do whatever you needed to do, and you were done. Instead of taking a whole bunch of screws out, figuring out where the screws were, going through tiers. And that's the worst part about some laptops, is take out the screws, you take out the back plate. Yeah, sometimes you have to open up part of the monitor to take out the back plate, and then you have to take out more pieces, more screws. You have to figure out, okay, this really, really small screw goes for this one. This really, 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 really small screw goes to this one, and your eyesight better be good. So it's too bad that this is all happening, but that's how technology rumbles. If you're not innovative, then you're not innovative. Simple as that. So, all right. Going back here, Vincent Y gives me an emoticon. Thank you very much, Vincent Y, for being on the chat there. Thank you for everybody watching. I think we're pretty much done for the happenings, the quick thoughts of the week. Once again, next week we'll not, most likely not have a quick thoughts. Depends on if I have any brain cycles going on, as I will be going from California to Vegas. And then, so we'll be back in 2 weeks for sure, with a little bit more news, with a little bit more information. If you have any questions, feel free to tweet me over at Geekazine. Think Magazine, put in a geek, and of course all the socials, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Geekazine. There you are, and that's me. So thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next week. Until then, we'll see you in 2 weeks. And until then, you guys geek out and take care.